right, guys, appreciate you clicking on this video, watching this video, listening to this podcast. I want to intro it real quick. We're talking to Zachary Hall in this video. He's a weatherman, storm tracker, storm chaser, meteorologist, weather aficionado, and an avid outdoorsman. I think what's cool about this is somebody who actually pays attention to the weather a lot and notices things and knows the terminology. His view and perspective on the outdoors and hunting is a little different than most, and I think that's what's cool and unique about it, is getting to see, like, how does a meteorologist deer hunt, which is really cool, and that's what we all kind of need to be looking at and focusing on. So check out the video. I think you'll really like it. Listen to the podcast. Give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Check out the stuff below, Patreon, eBay. Really appreciate those things. Cool stuff on eBay. The mock scrape ropes are out. They are on the eBay store, listed below in the documents in the description. So those are a hemp rope, a thick hemp rope that's twice as absorbent as cotton, and it's stiffer, so deer like to rub their glands on it more. So really cool. I think you'll have good success with them. I have in the past. So check them out. Here's the video.
Hunt hungry.
Man, Zach Hall, I appreciate you joining me, man. You're officially the most famous person ever to be on this podcast. So,
oh my gosh,
you're a rock star in the Arkansas weather, especially, man. How many people you got on Facebook? Like 200,000 or 300,000, and it's crazy.
So as of this morning, it's 299,200 something. So I'm close to 300K.
That's awesome, man. I noticed, like, I'd see your stuff, and I always assumed I was following you. And then you said you posted that thing about the buck moon, and I went to message you, and I wasn't actually following you. So I went ahead and followed you, but I was like, I've been seeing your stuff for months. Good. So I was like, I just assumed that I was following you. But yeah, we'll get into the buck moon thing for sure. So a little bit just intro, like I hate for like a 30-minute, hour-long podcast, and like people are like, I don't know who this person even is or what they do or anything. So I want to definitely go through some stuff real quick, just outdoor hunting wise. People get to know you a little better, and then we'll dig deep into some stuff. So first question: are you more of a gun hunter or a bow hunter?
Well, I love both. I have a bow, and I also have guns too. I love my .6. I don't discriminate. I like using my rifle. I've killed a bunch of deer with my rifle, my deer rifle. I've had that .6 for a long time. I started with a 270 when I was young. And my dad got me a 270 when I started with a 410, and then I moved up to a 270 when I was around 15, and I had that for a long time. But I like my .6. It's a Mossberg. But I also have a Matthews bow. I love my bow. I've killed a lot of deer with my bow. I recently sold I had a God, put me on the spot here. I want to say it was a Z7. I think
Z7's a great bow.
I'm not real good with the models. I never have been, but I killed a lot of deer with that Z7. But I recently sold it, and I got a new Matthews, and I really like it. And I hate to just pick one, but I definitely, here's my thing. I like both of them. I'll use both of them, but I do like that you can use the bow more than you can the gun. I mean, we don't have a huge gun season here in Arkansas. Yeah. So I like using my bow.
Yeah, I think the answer that everybody wants to hear is like whatever's legal, Like I'm more of like, if I can get one with a bow early, I'll just carry my bow during gun season. I've already got one, But yeah, if whatever's legal, like, man, if you muzzleloader, take a muzzleloader. That's a good one. Do you know what model Matthews you got now? You said you got the newer one.
It's the Halon.
Yeah.
It's the Halo. I'm pretty sure it's the Halo. It's literally in my hunting closet right behind me. But hopefully I'm not saying that. I literally just bought it 3 months ago from a guy down in Paris. And I really, really like it, man. I've really enjoyed shooting it. I've been having some issues with my left arm, some muscle issues. I haven't been able to shoot, honestly, like I probably should be right now with season. That velvet hunt's not far. So
you're right.
I need to start shooting more.
You more of a public land or private land guy?
I'm definitely more of a private land guy, man. I love public hunting. I'm not good at it. I'm really trying to learn. Public land is just a different animal to me. I guess I just haven't really mastered that. I grew up hunting private. We have a deer lease here. I live in western Arkansas near Fort Smith. I actually live south of Fort Smith in a town called Greenwood, but we have around 275 acres leased down in South Sebastian County, the county I'm from. And man, I'm out there every week on projects, me and another guy. And so I'm definitely a private land guy, but I'm still going to hunt public this year too. I want to get that monkey off my back. I've never killed a buck on public land, which is kind of frustrating to me because I put a lot of time in on public, but I'm more prone to hunt private.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to pick between the two, I think 99% of people would say I'll go public or private. I mean, yeah, because I'm the same way. I hunt both, but man, there's something about just going and getting in a stand, watching your feeder or whatever you've had your cell camera on. It's just nice. It's easy. It's nice. I love it. I mean, not that the hunting is necessarily easy, but it's comfortable knowing like there's not some other dude foot racing me out there to my spot or my area. You know?
Yeah, we've got. I did it this year. The area that I hunt is not known for food plots. This is not ag country, but I went in and had timber cleared, an acre worth of timber, and drilled seed in April. And I've got about an acre plot, and it is my first big food plot. I've done kill plots in the past, but I can't do that on public land. I really like growing deer, just as like I do. I say growing deer like I'm some big buck hunter. I like the evolution of the season. I have cameras out all year long. I do sell cameras all year long, and we did a lot of TSI improvement in the spring, trying to open up the canopy and make more native forage. And I can't do that stuff on public, but public is its own set of challenges. Them deer really have you patterned on public. It seems like more than they maybe do in private. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely enjoy my private land hunting. I have a saddle too. I love mobile hunting. Yeah. But you're right, man. Having them box blinds on private, hang on stands that are set and ready for you, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's just like me. It's a year-round sport for me, so I love the idea of going out in spring and doing some habitat stuff and getting them cameras out early and running them year-round. What did you drill? You said you drilled some seed in. What did you put in?
Yeah, so I went with a company. I did my research, and I went with a company called Domain Outdoors. Mm-hmm. And they have a seed mix called No BS, which is kind of marketed as being able to grow anywhere as long as it has soil, sun, and water. And so it has a mix of stuff, man. Alfalfa, turnips, all sorts of stuff. And I know some people discouraged against planting the No BS, but that's what the company recommended me to plant for my area. And then I also planted a brand called Comeback Kid from Domain Outdoors. It has all kinds of different clovers and stuff in it. And brother, the deer they demolish it. They're in there every night. There was 15 of them in there last night. I've got cameras on the perimeter of the plot, and I just love it. It was a lot of work. But yeah, I love it, man.
So is that and that's kind of my next question I had, that terrain, is that mountains? I mean, I know that area, I know Fort Smith, but the Ouachita Mountains, there's Ozark Mountains. Are you in the mountains?
So Fort Smith and Van Buren and Alma, that's, down to Russellville and whatnot, that's River Valley. But I don't consider this River Valley. Where we hunt, I would favor more the Ouachita Range than anything. I hunt in some mountainous terrain in South Sebastian, close to Poto Mountain. Man, you get south of Poto Mountain into Scott, Polk and Montgomery counties, Mount Ida, Mena, Waldron. That's the pine and Ouachita Range. So I would consider it more of that than anything. We don't have just an abundance of pines, but there's some pines on the property, a lot of hardwoods. It's, we're talking miles of close canopy timber, not River Valley. You get down to the Arkansas River Valley, you can make an argument that some of that's like ag hunting. You know what I mean? Like Delta kind of. So I don't hunt that is what I'm trying to get at. So
yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Some of my private lands up around Stone County, so it's Ozark Mountains, and the only thing that grows there is rocks. So it's like, I was wondering what you were tilling into the mountains down there. I was thinking, man, I can't get anything to grow but rocks. So that's good to know. So you end up killing a deer last season?
I did. Yeah, I killed a couple. I didn't kill a buck in Arkansas. I killed a buck in Missouri. Nice. Here in Southwest Missouri. My wife, one of her cousins, they have a fairly large farm in Southwest Missouri. Went up there and shot a buck, a real nice 8-point, waiting on him to get back from the taxidermist. Should be back here in the next few months, hopefully. And then I also shot a doe on Thanksgiving morning. We always hunt on Thanksgiving morning, no matter what the weather is. And I was a little desperate at that time. I didn't get to hunt a whole lot early season last year. I had some stuff going on. And so come November, I started to hunt quite a bit. Man, I just had horrible luck. I don't know what my problem was. So I finally went ahead and punched a doe tag on Thanksgiving. And I killed that buck in Missouri not long after that. So I killed 2 last year. I could have killed some late season, and I wish I would have, because I ran out of deer meat way too fast. But at the time, I had plenty of meat in the freezer, and So I killed a couple. I'll probably kill 2 or 3 this year again, I'm sure. Hopefully, the good Lord provides. But
yeah, I've got a buddy that he calls it December, and it's just shoot all the does you can see in December. He calls it December. So what kind of started this conversation? You had a post on your Facebook page, which is Storm Tracker, right? Archer Storm Tracker. If you didn't know that, and I'll provide the links. Not that you need any more followers, but I'll provide all the links.
I'm always looking for new followers, man.
Absolutely. But you had a post about the buck moon, and it hit me because I've got a buddy, the same buddy that celebrates December, who he'll walk out and go, there's a buck moon, the bucks are moving or whatever. And we kind of just had a little bit of a convo about that on Facebook. What is a buck moon? You would know the scientific behind it. What is a buck moon?
Well, so first of all, the moon for the month of July, the full moon, most of the moons, I think all of them, every month have a name. And generally, most of them have been provided or given by Native American tribes. I mean, there is the wolf moon, there's the pink moon, there's all kinds of moon names. And this month is called the buck moon. And it was given, the month of July, the full moon was given because of the deer. I mean, bucks are growing their antlers right now. We all know, all the hunters know that, we're in velvet season right now. We're growing them antlers, and it's starting to become, I feel like, and this may not be right, but I feel like July is show you what you got month when it comes to these bucks. Like they go from nothing to something real quick. I've got, I'm not trying to brag, but I mean, on our lease, we have some bucks that have went from, whoa, this look good to holy cow. Like these bucks are looking real good, this month, where I felt like it was in 2 weeks, the antlers have really started to shape up. And so that's what the moon is labeled in the month of July. That's why they call it the buck moon. They're not really any relation to deer hunting or anything like that. But I really enjoy talking about space and the moon. So anytime we have a full moon, I generally share it on my Facebook and social media. And this is my favorite one because I'm an avid deer hunter, so I like the buck moon.
Absolutely. So it's just particular to that month. So is there anything
July
that like the moon being up in the middle of the day, say like in October, if it's October and it's 1 in the afternoon and the moon is out, is there a term for that?
I don't know. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure. I do know that like today, for example, the full the peak illumination, I think it is, was like 3:30 today. So really, when the moon rises tonight at 8:48 p.m. here in Arkansas, you'll be able to see it. It'll be full, but technically it's not a peak illumination here in Arkansas.
Gotcha.
But don't get me wrong, it'll still look very full and stuff tonight. When it rises, it'll be gorgeous. But it's actually a pretty distant moon too. This moon isn't real close to us. It's a pretty good distance away, but it will still be large and on the horizon tonight after sunset.
Yeah, I assume that the term buck moon, and like you hear people talk about majors and minors and the movement of deer and fish and stuff based off majors and minors, and I assume that was kind of related to that term. So it's just the month is based off of kind of a calendar, I guess, that Native American names and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of names, man.
Do you think that the moon being up in the middle of the day or majors and minors plays an effect on deer? Because you keep up. I walk in the woods and I'm just like, yep, it's time to go deer hunting. You're like probably more scientific about it, so.
So let me ask you this. Are you asking me if I think the moon impacts deer movement?
Yes.
Okay. I do think it does sometimes. I do. Now, I know that there are people who are way smarter than me out there who might disagree, but I truly feel like most of the time that if the moon is high at night, it's fully illuminated, that deer movement will be a little bit different. But I do feel like there's some caveats as well. Weather trumps all. I truly feel like that is a legitimate thing when it comes to deer. Hopefully most would agree with me on that. Weather trumps all and the rut. I don't think it really matters if there's a hurricane moving in. If a buck is looking for a hot doe, he will go through hell or high water to get to it. He does not care about the moon phase. He's not going to get up from his bed and say, oh, I got to get back down. There's full moon tonight. But I do feel like in a general sense, the moon does play a part. And I feel like, judging by what I've seen on camera, just for example, today, before we started talking, I got a notification on my cell camera. There were some deer in my food plot today at 3 o'clock. It's hot. And there was 8 or 9 deer in the food plot. They fed in passing. I'm guessing maybe going to a different bed. But I feel like deer move more in the middle of the day when we have full moons, and I feel like they really get going at night. That might just be a coincidence of something that I've observed. Like I said earlier, there might be some scientists out there who know more than me who would disagree, but I do feel like they move more at night when we have a full moon, and maybe more in the middle of the day.
Yeah, you see the arguments on like these YouTube people or whatever, and it's hard for me to buy into like, well, the moon is on the opposite side of the earth, so animals are moving more, something like that. I can buy into the fact that the moon's big, it's up all night, the deer feel like, they can see, maybe they move a little more, so that affects their when they're going to get up and feed in the daytime. That makes total sense to me. The other deal about like, well, the moon's big and it's in over China, or and somehow that affects us. That is a little harder for me to believe. So that's why I asked that. I just thought, you pay attention to that stuff more than I do. I would just
the great debate.
Yeah. So here's another great debate, and it's back to again weather questions.
Okay.
And this question stems from, I don't know if you've ever seen, like, there's guys like Whitetail, what's his name? Whitetail Environment. I can't think of his name. Anyway, got a YouTube channel. But he talks about don't hunt all the time. Just hunt when everything lines up. Everything's perfect. The cold front, the wind's right. Just everything has to line up. And then he may only hunt like 3 or 4 or 5 times a year. He kills deer on those. And of course, I've tried to tell my hunting buddy, like, hey, what about this? We need to look at this. And that's the only time we hunt. I just remember he said, now the time we hunt is called Saturday and Sunday, because we're working. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what happens on Tuesday and Wednesday. Like, we go on Saturday, Sunday. So if you're looking at like the front, as the front moves across the state, do you want to be before it, during it, or after it?
So I'm going to give the very basic answer before I start talking. Whoever's listening to this, if you like hunting, you go hunting whenever you want. Enjoy your time. Go when you can, because, man, it just doesn't get no better, if you ask me. If you work all week, go on Saturday and Sunday. If you have the liberty to take some time off and you're able to go hunting, there is nothing wrong with paying attention to the weather, because I do feel like it will increase your chances of seeing deer while you're hunting. From a weather perspective, when it comes to impacting deer movement, the great debate is, do you hunt before the front? Do you hunt after the front? Do you hunt all of it? I'm going to answer this in 2 parts. Okay. When it comes to a front moving in, we're all in Arkansas here. So let's say we've got a storm system that's about to pass through the region. And, obviously we've got a low pressure system with an attached cold front. So we know the frontal passage is coming from Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, whatever. The wind switch is likely out of the northwest post cold front. But before the cold front gets here, generally, we'll just say we're in October or early October, and the temperature is 83 degrees outside. It's hot. We've got a southeast or a southwest wind before the front gets here. When that front moves through and the frontal passage occurs, your wind's immediately likely going to switch to the northwest. I'm going to be hunting for sure post cold front. I truly feel like deer move more when the temperatures are closer to average or below average rather than above average. That doesn't mean they don't move. Deer move every day. They move every single day. They feed every single day. But the odds of you getting more miles out of the deer are higher when the temperatures are at or below average. I truly feel like they're a lot like us, man. When it's nice outside, they're more apt to move. I feel like I'm getting off on a tangent here, but generally when we have a cold front in the simplest of terms is replacing one air mass with another that's colder. So I feel like we really get all up in arms about these fronts, let's just say in early fall. I know I do. If we have that good first strong front coming in, man, it's the thing of dreams. Deer are going to be moving more after the front. Now, but then you could argue another fact. I think I saw, we were wanting to talk about maybe some pressure stuff.
Yeah.
I'll also say that I do feel like when the pressure starts falling because of an approaching system, deer aren't dumb. They know that. They can register that like humans do. And I do feel like deer might be more apt to move if they notice that pressure falling. But I still feel like it's less apt for them to move before the front and wind switch gets here because it's generally warmer, hot. Now, if it's in the wintertime, brother, that might not be the same case when it's 50 degrees outside. I noticed last January, I ran cell cameras on some public land local to this area because I wanted to kind of do a survey of deer in the area. And we got a bunch of snow here in January, brother, here in West Arkansas. We had like 10 inches. Prior to that storm getting here, mind you, it's January, it's still going to be cold. There was a ton of movement prior to that storm getting here. The day before, dude, there was deer everywhere on my cameras on public land, feeding like crazy. I'd put them on a bunch of food plots. When the storm got here, snowed like crazy, snow thick on the ground for 2 or 3 days, I hardly saw any deer movement whatsoever. I'm guessing they probably stuck close to their beds, fed on native browse, and that's it. But man, 2 days after the snow started to melt, high pressure had built in, still cold, but warming up a little bit, sunny skies. The deer were moving like crazy in the middle of the day when it was warm. I'm talking warm as in like 32 degrees. It had been like 20. So I felt like it really just depends on the attached conditions. Not all cold fronts are made equal. So not all northwesterly winds are made equal. Sometimes your northwest winds, even in the fall, may only be a 5 or 6 degree temperature drop. It's not always that 10 or 15 we love to see. But just my personal opinion, yeah, man, I'm going to be in the stand that next morning post cold front, especially if that front, this is just my opinion too. I feel like the best deer hunting out there is when we get a front that hits late in the evening, like well after dark, maybe closer to 9, 10, 11 o'clock. And that allows the front to move through. Maybe if there's rain attached to that, rain and showers and storms. And by 6 or 7 a.m., 8 a.m., we're clearing out. Maybe we wake up with some sunshine, but the wind's out of the northwest and it's 15 degrees colder than what it was the day before. Bro, the deer are going to be on their feet.
Yeah.
They're just going to.
So I've heard a couple theories on why they're up and moving around these fronts. One is I've always heard people say the rain that's associated with that front, they're going to go freshen the scrapes up. I don't know if there's any science behind this, but I know that I've seen scrape activity pick up after, but it also is late October, so maybe it's just picking up because it's that time of year.
Yeah.
But I've always heard, I've had old hunters tell me like, hey, it rained last night, you need to be sitting on a scrape this morning. That's just one theory. The other one, which I think makes sense to me, like I said, it's kind of hard for me to grasp, like, well, the deer just know that the storm's coming, so they go and do whatever they do. But it makes sense to me that, well, the wind switches, like you said, they're going to get up and go, I need to go to that other bed because the wind favors me in that bed. So that's why the theory that I've always had, and I don't know if it's true or not, is maybe being a ground blind while the storm's passing, or in the truck just waiting for it to pass if it's lightning, obviously. But if it's just kind of some rain, being a ground blind or something, and as soon as it passes, go to your spot, get in a tree as quick as you can so that you're there when they're trying to make that move with that wind switch. I don't know if there's any science to back that up. That's just what kind of has been relayed to me by generational deer hunters or not. I mean, how would you play that? If you got that storm coming and it's going to hit at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, would you be there at 2 and try to ride it out? Would you just go after? How would you play that?
That's tough, man. That's real tough because you've got to, I don't know how you are, but man, on our lease, we've got stand locations set up for certain winds. I've got stuff for northwest. I've got stuff for south wind. They're the most common winds, I feel like. We have some rare, not always, but, it does happen occasionally. We have an east wind. Not as common, but we have some spots that I would like to hunt on an east wind too. But, man, I'm telling you right now, if I know that a front's moving in and that wind switch is going to happen mid-afternoon, I'm waiting for that wind switch. Because especially if you don't want to burn a spot, especially with mature deer, you can get away with these. You can blow deer out, I feel like, young deer out, young bucks. But, man, some of these bruisers that we're after, you blow them out of there a couple of times because of bad wind, they're going to eventually say, man, I ain't going over there no more. Yeah. And I feel like if you're doing that, if you're going in to hunt a spot, because you're eventually going to have to transition to another spot, which means that you might risk being in a bad wind spot. I don't know. I think I would wait post-wind, even if it means you're only getting to hunt an hour. And I know that some people might say, man, dude, you're thinking too much. Just get out there and hunt. Yeah, I get that. But you can also use your common sense. I mean, dude, these deer, I saw a video on YouTube the other day. Some of the best information I have ever seen. It was a guy using a drone. I don't know if you saw this video.
I bet I did.
Holy cow, brother. You're talking about, what stuck with me out of that entire video was him showing the buck that was bedded up in the middle of the day. And the moment the peak high temperature hit, I think it was like 48 degrees. The moment the peak high hit, and we started to make that slow climb. Mind you, this is in, I think, December or January. It was cold. Peak high was 48 degrees. The moment that passed, that buck got out of his bed because he knew that the thermals were going to start dropping. Yeah. So he put that in his favor. That right there shows you these mature bucks, dude, they are so smart. They make a living off playing the wind and thermals. And that's a whole nother conversation. We can talk about thermals and air rising and dropping.
We
it almost feels like we're
at some point.
It almost feels like we're kind of behind the 8 ball on it, really. Yeah. Like, it's almost like, hunting mountainous country, you can't get away with anything, which I know sometimes you can, but.
Yeah. when I first started hunting, a buddy of mine who, again's old school hunter, he told me, he's like, man, these mature bucks, they always walk into the wind, their nose in the wind, and you can never fool their nose. I was like, then why even go hunting? Because, like, I mean, I never will, I never win ever, if that's the truth. But so, you know, that answers a lot, I think. And I think it's like you said, just if you can go. I have sat in the truck a lot of times just waiting on the rain to stop. As soon as that rain stops, I'm booking it. You know, I'm ready to go. So I don't know what's right and wrong, but I think, like you said, you don't want to blow them out. I mean, the wind and the mature bucks is tricky. So back to the pressure, you mentioned it a little bit. Is the pressure just part of the front, and that's why we kind of associate pressure and movement, you know, and stuff like that?
Yeah, you can have a low pressure system, your pressures are going to fall. Anytime you have an antecedent, I don't think I'm saying that right. Anytime you have a system, a mid-latitude cyclone, low pressure system here in the continental U.S., your pressures, the barometric pressure is going to go down. You know, your low pressure drop. And of course, after a system, high pressure follows low pressure, high pressure is going to settle across the region, your pressure is, you know, it's going to go up. And I think that there's an argument that deer react to both. You know, if you have stable pressure, I feel like maybe not as much. I am a huge fan of hunting post-storm system when a high pressure settles in. I really feel like deer love, especially in the evenings. Let's say that system kind of settled in over the area for a couple of days. It's moved on. The high pressure settled in. The pressure's going up. I feel like that following evening when everything's really cleared out, bluebird skies, man, that evening hunt is usually just money. Maybe better than other times. But then you could make the same argument that maybe the evening, like we talked about earlier for that snow system, pressure's fallen, deer know, hey, I need to go feed. It's time to go feed. Obviously during the rut, it might be a little bit different. Bucks might not have feed on their mind as much, but I'm talking general times, you know, outside of the rut. But yeah, I mean, I don't want it to, it's pretty simple. You know, the pressure falls and pressure rises when it comes to these things.
I've seen some of these YouTube guys and podcasts. They're like, man, if the wind changes this much and the temps are this, and if the pressure's this, and it's like, I don't know. When I look at my apps, the pressure doesn't really do a whole lot until that front hits. So it's like, why would I hunt the front? Like, that's basically what you're saying, is hunt the front, and you know, they're making it a little more complicated. And of course, like I said, we hunt on Saturday, Sunday. You know, whenever the front hits, we're going to be out there just on Saturday, Sunday, basically. So sticking with the wind and the weather for a little bit, when the rut comes, is it even worth paying attention to, or is it just go?
Man, you know, I don't think it's ever a bad idea to not pay attention to the wind, because your buddy, he said to a mature buck, you're not going to fool their nose, and he's not wrong. Yeah. Even a buck. Now, I know things can happen. Crazy things can happen, man. A buck could be so focused that he's not paying much attention, but man, I think in the rut is where you can get away with some of the things that we don't generally, like mature buck's not going to let you get away with. Maybe access. When you're going in there to hunt, if you have a good wind, let's just say you've got a good northwest wind, man, a front has passed, you know, it's that evening. That front's passed, the wind's kicking up 15, 20 miles an hour. That's my favorite time to hunt, stalk hunt too. Yeah. And you've got a good setup, you know, close to a bedding area, and you know, hey, a buck, my favorite spots to hunt after a front, close to the rut, is a northwest wind where you've got a bedding area to your northwest, because those bucks, especially in the middle of the day, they will J-hook them bedding areas and scent check them for does. And if you can set up on that side and let him cross between you and the bedding, oh my gosh, man. You want to talk about catching some bruisers who generally would never show their face. But the key there is that northwest wind, maybe 10, 15 miles an hour, get the scent kicked up in the bedding areas. Maybe, you know, added bonus, there's a mock scrape or a scrape on that side of the bedding area. Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I went off on a tangent, but
no, that's great, because we're off script, but I've got questions, so that's perfect. So like, how far off of a scrape do you recommend hunting? Because I've heard people say, don't be right on the scrape because they're going to J-hook into it. If you're right on it, he's going to get your wind. But if you're, you know, 50 yards, 60 yards off of it, he may split, he may be 30 yards off. So just at a random, what would you recommend?
Well, I would say it depends on what you're hunting with. If you're hunting with a bow, I don't like shooting past 25 yards. It's just a personal preference. I feel like once you get close to 30, I know there's guys out there that can make those shots. More power to them. I'm not a master archer. I'm comfy 25 yards in. And I'm just not in the business of making bad shots on these deer. I feel like God allows us to hunt these animals. We should probably do our best to make sure we're doing it right because karma's real. And I feel like the odds of me wounding an animal are a lot lower 25 yards and in. Just me.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm hunting a scrape with a bow, I want to be 25 yards or closer. And I know that can be a little risky. Now, if I'm hunting with a gun, I do agree with what you said. I do think they have a tendency, them bucks will J-hook the scrapes and stuff. If you can get in, your access is clean, that wind's in your face, and you know you've got the scrape in front of you, and back off 60, 70 yards. Sit on the ground. I sit on the ground all the time, especially if I have I like sitting on the ground in the morning, and I'm hunting like mountainous areas. You can set above drainages, benches. The thermals are rising in the morning, so they're headed your way, not to the deer if they're below you. But yeah, I think backing off a little bit depends on what you're using.
Yeah, I'm making notes here because we're going to have a round 2 of this at some point, and we're going to dig into wind, thermals, bedding, and all that stuff because I got a lot of questions as a fellow mountainous area hunter. You mentioned you saddle hunt too. What saddle are you running?
Lockdown, tethered lockdown.
That's the same one I've got. Is the lockdown the second name they gave it, or it came out with a name and then they got sued and they had to switch the name? I think. I don't know. You know which one is which?
I've got the pouches on the side. It's got suspenders.
Yeah, that's the same one I've got. I got it right when it came out, and then they got sued and they had to change the name of it. But it's the same exact saddle, and I don't remember which one's which. But yeah,
I had the Latitude before. I had the Latitude. It was okay. It was the Method, I think, the Method 2, the 2-panel. I wasn't a huge fan of the 2-panel. The 2-panel saddle where it separates. I really just want one. I call it a diaper. I just want one diaper in my saddle, and it's got suspenders. I noticed when I was climbing the tree, my sticks, that saddle had a tendency because my sticks are hanging off to fall down my rear end and my legs, and I wanted suspenders that attach, and I wanted the pouches, the sishaulers, whatever they call them. It just, you one hand zip, and then I've got, of course, the ascenders. Man, those things are a lifesaver. I tried using a Pro 6 knot, and that about killed me. I immediately ordered some.
The Ropeman one and the Kong Duck, those are game changers. They're whatever they charge for them, just pay it. It's worth it.
I did that immediately.
Yeah, a buddy of mine has the Latitude too, and the 2-panels seems like it might be more comfortable. I didn't like the Prusik knot on the front, like it doesn't have a buckle, right?
No.
I know you don't want to be metal, you don't want to make noise and all that, but I want a real deal buckle keeping me from dying. So
I agree.
I don't like the Prusik knots are great, but I want to be I want to make sure I'm not falling out of a tree. So that's why I thought to me the tethered made sense. Do you hunt on that on your private land too?
I've got the saddle to use. Yeah. I did last year. But it depends on the situation. I have a feeling that this year, I know this lease, this will be the second year working on this lease. I have a pretty good knowledge base now on the property compared to what I did last year. And there's some spots that especially during the rut, close to bedding areas that I probably won't go only a couple of times this year. And that saddle's perfect, man. It's super lightweight to carry in there. It's quiet. I've got everything stealth stripped. I've got a Latitude low profile. I think it's called low profile platform, real small. And I've got some tethered sticks that just, man, I wasn't real sure on this whole saddle thing before I started because I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'3", 200 plus. So I wasn't real sure at first if I could do it. Man, you can definitely do it. It just takes getting used to is all. And you can really sneak into some spots that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got very similar setups. I've got the Latitude X-Wing platform that has the little things that stick out on the side. Really, I love that platform. It's like 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds, super light. And I've got the tethered one sticks. I love it. It's just what I ran into is on private land. I want an easy afternoon hunt. It's maybe a hot day. I don't want to do the whole rope around the tree, climbing it and aiders and all that. I just want to climb some steps that are already hung and getting my lock on. So for private land, I've started doing more lock-ons. I still take my saddle, and during the rut especially, it's great to have that saddle and move to wherever the hot scrape is or whatever. In public land, it's a no-brainer. Saddle's the way to go. But yeah, I got lazy, I guess. I've gotten where I don't want to climb a tree with all the saddle stuff, sticks hanging off your legs and everything. If I can keep from it. So
yeah.
What you said you were working on your farm stuff. One last question. What are you doing deer season prep wise? What's on your, what do you got going?
Well, I have never tried mock scrapes. That's something I have never done. And I have some friends who swear by them, and I follow some people on social media who swear by them too. So this year I just ordered 2 not long ago from a company called Hodag. Hopefully I'm not messing up any sponsorships you have or anything like that. Or
I don't
like that.
know.
Okay. I ordered a couple of mock rope scrapes that I've never tried. And I have a couple spots that, man, I really think a mock scrape would do well. So as soon as those get in, I'm going to go put them up. I have to hang stands this weekend. That plot of mine is doing well, but it does have some warm season grasses that have came in. So I've got to get the 4-wheeler and the tank sprayer out there. I think it's called clethodim. It kills grasses. It doesn't kill your plot. I've got to go spray that this weekend. I've got a spot that the velvet hunt. I have a buck that I have been following now for a while. My kids call him George. He's probably 4.5 or 5. He's a stud. He's nice. A Ozark Mountain, Ouachita Mountain Range, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, stud, and he's really smart. And I'm currently kind of devising a plan on how I think I'm going to kill him on the velvet hunt. So this week I'm going to probably put a blind up and cover that, dude. So it's kind of funny you asked me about this project stuff. So this last year, I used to golf. I used to do all kinds of stuff. But this last year, I told my wife in December, I said, I think in 2025, I'm going to commit to deer hunting all year. I'm going to do something every single week. And every week since January 1st, I have had a project on the lease, and I've done something, whether it was timber stand, working on the food plot, hanging cameras, whatever. Just trying to learn these deer better, because I have some aspirations, but I want to kill 150 before I die.
And that's tough in Arkansas. Hey,
I know.
In Arkansas, that's a feat. That's a real deal.
Yeah. If I can do that, boy, it's going to be hard to complain about your deer hunting career if you can kill a 150 in this state. So that's my goal. That's kind of my hobbyist goal. Of course, I'm married, got kids. So they take up a lot of my time, but I love deer hunting too.
It's funny you mentioned the mock scrape deal. I've always wanted to do the rope thing, so I just kind of started making my own. And I'm going to send you one. I hadn't put them on my eBay store yet, but I'm fixing to, because I had to test them for a year and just kind of be like, man, I want to make sure this works. And they're a hemp rope. So I actually did the research. Like hemp's like twice as absorbent as cotton. And a lot of people use cotton rope because cotton's cheaper. But hemp is stiffer, so that when they rub it with their glands, they can actually like get into it a little more as opposed to cotton. So I've got them pre-treated with some stuff I use for, like, it's velvet season stuff or whatever. So they stay in an airtight bag. They've never been touched by human sin or anything. And I'm running those too. So I'm gonna mail you one, man, and try it out and just let me know how it goes and everything. Because did you have luck on it? Yeah. Did you have luck on it? Yeah, I love scrapes, and it's different parts of the state. I hunt obviously the Ozark Mountains. I hunt the Delta. The Delta to me doesn't fire up with scrapes until later. Like my Ozark Mountain deer, they run scrapes. Seems like year round. Maybe it's just I know the area more. I've had more cameras out there or whatever. But the Delta ones, I don't see them start firing up till later into October. But like I've got scrapes right now that deer are working in the Ozarks that I've got cameras on. So
we have 2 community scrapes on the lease, like for sure community scrapes. They're big that I've had cameras on, and you're right. I mean, there's some deer that'll check that scrape all the time. Yeah. I don't feel like the big bucks do it as much as they do when you get close to the season, but I've got are you short on time? You good for just a second?
No, we're good.
So that food plot, I put it on the east end of the lease so I can access it and hunt it clean with the northwest wind. I, burn one wind direction, give the rest of the deer. But I went in there this spring and had a guy come in. His name's Alex Dean. He does chainsaw work in Western Arkansas. He's a fantastic guy. And he came in and cut about an acre worth of timber. He cut all the cedars out. Every single one of the cedars we cut, and we left everything else to let more sunlight hit the forest floor so more native habitat would grow up. And dude, it has blown up thick cover. And I have a camera on the edge of that bedding area. And it's about 100 yards west of that food plot. I did that on purpose. So hopefully deer would bed close to the plot and I could hunt the transition between the bedding and the food plot. So I'm wanting to put a mock scrape. There's a prominent trail that comes out of that bedding area. I want to put a mock scrape on it. And I've never done one before. I've just never, I don't know. I didn't have anything against them. I just thought, that ain't going to work here. Just ignorantly thinking that. but so many people have told me like, dude, do a mock scrape. So
yeah,
I'm going to try those ropes and.
Yeah. And the one I'll send you is, like I said, it's already got some stuff on there for like velvet season, it's called. But if you don't see them hitting that, I've tried there's like synthetic gland stuff. You can buy like Code Blue, I think maybe sells it. I just try different deer in different areas react to different things, man. They're just kind of like, I guess we are, a Cajun in Louisiana is going to react differently than we do, So they're just weird like that. But we're definitely going to get back on. We're going to talk about this wind thermal bedding stuff, because that's going to be, man, you piqued my interest, especially knowing that you kind of hunt similar stuff that I do. I want to know your thoughts on that, and I want to know how this rope stuff's working for you, good or bad. You're not going to hurt my feelings by any means, man. I appreciate you coming on. I know it's getting close to dinner time. You got a family and everything. How can people follow you and keep up with what you're doing?
Well, I really appreciate you having me on. For anyone who's watching, if you're interested, I'm a weather forecaster first and foremost. I used to be a professional storm chaser back in the day, but I've kind of really given that up. I cover all 75 counties in the state of Arkansas every single day on social media. I have a Facebook page called Zachary Hall, Arkansas Storm Tracker. I know that's how we connected. I have a TikTok, I have a YouTube, I have a Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and I post every single day. So if you ever have weather questions, especially you hunters who might be listening to this, if you ever have a question about the weather and how it pertains to deer hunting, I know a little bit about the weather, so I can help if you have a question. I'm in a group on Facebook called Arkansas Deer Hunters. It's got a lot of people in it, and the administration on that group are real nice about letting me share weather stuff in there when it comes to deer hunting. So, I'm all on social media all the time. So.
We're going to talk about that storm chasing stuff too next time, because that's interesting as well. I want to hear some of that.
Man.
So
let me know.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate it again. Like I said, we'll do it again, and I'll let you get back with your family, man. It's been a good time.
Sounds good. Yep. Thank you so much.